Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Kai Paul podcast. I'm your host, Kai Paul, and I am so privileged and honored to have our guest, Kevin Morrison, on the show with us today. Kevin has inspired me very often over the last few years. And, you know, the big reason why I had you on the show, Kevin, is you went within 1 year from a server to an actor, and that just blew my mind, and I'm so excited to just have you with us here today.
Well, it's so good to be here, man. You know, it's a pleasure. Thank you for having me. I can't wait to share some of my story, and answer some pretty cool questions. So.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. It's going to be good. Well, let's just dive into it, Kev, because your story is way too cool. As I had mentioned, you know, one day you were just like, I know you were an entrepreneur, you had done your bodybuilding training, and you were like coaching, and you had kind of done a number of things. I know you had owned like a barbershop, and then one day you had gotten married, which was awesome. And then you just were kind of in between things. You were serving, and one day you're just like, oh yeah, I just got an acting gig. And then you started getting on HBO, Netflix, some of these, you know, big names. And I just want you to jump into it. Tell us a story. How did you go from a server to an actor, man, in under a year? How did that happen?
Well, it's a pretty crazy story, man. I've always loved drama. I've always loved theater, acting. It was always something I wanted to do. When I was a kid, I was featured on Global as an actor. Yeah, I was selected to go into like this college acting workshop when I was a kid. It was back in like 2007, 2008. Wow. So it's always been something I really enjoyed. It was just, I guess in a more recent take, I was doing training at the gym. At that time I was running my business at the facility, and, a friend of mine, he was working out at the gym. He's an older guy, and, I chat with him, super awesome guy, but he approached me and he's like, telling me like how you got such a good look. And he told me, like, I got to introduce you to my agent. And because I asked him what he did for work, and he said he was an actor. And I'm like, wow, That's pretty cool. You don't really hear just meet anybody who's like, yeah, they do that full time. He used to do like he is a trade, like he was in carpentry and stuff.
Wow.
But then now he does acting like full time. And
That's
I
awesome.
thought that was amazing. So he got me in touch with his agent. I met up with him. We had an awesome visit at his place. He gave me her contact, and I got in touch with her. I kind of introduced myself, told her about my background in that, and then it was just kind of took off from there. Because I had done a couple commercials previous to that.
Okay.
Kind of on my own, but not represented by anybody. But then I had gotten an audition for a role playing a lawyer in a film. It was an indie film, an independent film out of province.
Oh, wow.
So I did an audition for it, and they contacted me back and offered me the role. It was like the first role I auditioned for on
First
screen.
role you auditioned for, you just got
full
it.
paid trip, all expenses covered,
Wow.
out of province. It was crazy. It was so surreal. And so it was immediately like I went to go get like my suit sizing done, and I got my lines sent to me, and it's like it became real. All of a sudden, it's like, whoa! Like I
remember texting you one day. I was like, "What are you doing this afternoon?" Because I think I wanted to go for coffee or something, and you were just like, "I can't. I got to memorize my script." And I'm like, "What is he talking about?" But I was like, "Oh, we'll catch up later." And then I found out like you just got this role, and that was amazing.
Well, thank you. And it was just surreal. I'm reading these lines, and I remember I was swimming in the pool, and it just hit me like, whoa! I got cast to play a role in a film. Like what a dream, you know? And because I know a lot of times people will say on average it takes years to get to that point where you keep being persistent, and that it's like right away I got a speaking role in a film. And then I stepped into doing some background roles as well. I had gotten on Heartland.
Oh wow, that's a big show.
I was on the I was a background on the season premiere of season 18 on Heartland. Okay. So you can see me kind of sitting right beside Amber, and it's out now. You can watch it on
that's awesome.
On CBC. But that was my first background type gig like that, and then it was just kind of like rapid fire. So I was on set every single week. So from June 2024. Right up until the end, right up till Christmas time last year, I was on set every week for something else.
Every week.
I was involved with almost 30 different productions.
That's crazy.
Commercials.
Kev, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, commercials, indie films, short films, dramas, action films, action movies. I played a day player on an action film.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and it was just like crazy. I had worked with some big name actors and actresses as well. Like it was surreal, and it just kind of it's continued to get to that point, and I was serving during that time right up until October. So trying to balance, I had the best bosses ever when I was working at the restaurant.
That's
awesome. They were very accommodating to my sudden opportunities that would pop up. It just reached a point where I was getting so busy with acting and music that I had to let go of one thing at a time.
Yeah.
You know, it reached a point it was time to let go of the restaurant, which I had been there for a few years. It had been a great experience, great place, and on good terms, which is good.
Yeah, absolutely. That's
and they were so supportive and excited about me pursuing my dreams.
Yeah.
It was a surreal feeling to slowly let the side gigs go because my passions and dreams were taking over for real.
Wow.
And then I let my business at the gym, I put that aside as well. I had put it on.
So you're trying to get hyper focused on it.
Yeah. Well, it became like I had to focus because I realized that trying to balance a ton of side gigs and all these different projects at the same time, I was concerned it would affect the quality of the product. You know, I guess from a business standpoint, you know, like I didn't want to get sloppy with my acting or my music or even training people at the gym. So it's like, what is the best choice? Well, I don't have the energy and the time to pursue all these things at the same time, you know, and I felt it was time to put those things on hold and pursue the acting, and it's completely taken over. And I mean, I was like just recently I was able to purchase a dream car of mine. I had always had the dream of buying a new Mercedes, and so to go to the dealership and buy a new Mercedes from art money, I guess you can say, is it's pretty surreal.
Wow, that's amazing. I love that, Kevin. Okay, so I gotta hear, certainly this, like it wasn't all butterflies and roses. Surely there's some pit stops, some roadblocks, some challenges you had to overcome. But my biggest question for you really is, when you were kind of going through this journey, this process of becoming an actor, what were people's responses? Because I guarantee you definitely probably had people that were just like, you're never going to make it. What are you doing filming yourself and posting yourself online and just like, you know, haters, right? And so how'd you deal with that? Was that actually a factor? Did you deal with that? How'd you overcome that? Like share a little bit of the journey.
That's such a great question, Kai. Oh my goodness. You know, when you pursue your dreams and if it's something that's out of the box, especially compared to other things that people do, it's, you know, people, I don't know if it's like part of it is insecurities. People will feel like they need to project their insecurities onto you. It's like telling you things aren't realistic and, you know, like just, or it's cool, it's cute, it's awesome hobby, you know, it's, and even, you know, you can constantly go forward and you can progress in something and people will still have things to say. And I mean, that's how it's always going to be like that. Right. You know, I had always thought, cause I have family that work in the industry as well, in Vancouver. So for the longest time, I thought that you had to move to Vancouver in order to pursue any kind of career in film.
Okay.
And you know, I was always told,
just for viewers that might not be from Canada, Vancouver is it's a hot spot for acting in Canada. Yes. Kind of like the Canadian Hollywood.
Absolutely. Yeah. And recently, Calgary, Alberta has bumped Vancouver to the third slot.
Really?
Yeah. Just recently. So it is. So Calgary is number 2. Toronto's still number 1.
Okay.
Probably always will be, but Calgary in Alberta itself, it's got the most diversity of different scenery for films. I mean, you have the mountains, you got the lakes, the farms, the city, even the city itself of Calgary or Edmonton. You can make it look like a lot of different cities.
There's different areas.
Yeah, like a lot of people find Vancouver isn't as diverse. It looks like Seattle. And that's pretty much it. It's difficult. You can't make Vancouver be New York or Boston, but you can make Calgary look like that. So that's
Very
one
interesting.
thing. They started bringing a lot of productions here. And
Okay, so you dove in, you know,
Yeah.
you thought I couldn't do it, not here, not in Alberta.
yeah, and exactly. And so but I did it anyway, especially since, when I stepped in and seeing that there's all these jobs, and there just kept becoming more and more jobs. But people would still be dream killing against it. They'd still talk, they'd be like, like, well, what are you doing for money? Because they hear that I left the restaurant, and it's like, I'm doing acting. If people can't wrap their brain around it, it's like I'm an actor professional. I'm because they see it as, well, you're quitting all your jobs for. It's like, yeah, because this is my job now. And
Okay, Kev, I just got to interrupt you because you just brought up a story in my mind that is just that cracked me up. So I remember I can't remember what the story was, but you were hanging out with someone and they were like doing construction or something, and they were just kind of like, oh yeah, like I just got promoted to like $35 an hour. That's awesome, that's great or whatever. But you played a construction worker and you're making like you got to share that story. Share that story because it's so good.
So I played the construction worker on a TV show, and I have my own trailer on set, and so pretending to do construction. You pull up in the truck, you pull the shovel out, and then you walk to the building and you start shoveling, and then they say cut. Not even any lines in. I'm making like almost twice as much as a construction worker was making doing real construction.
So you're making twice as much as a real construction worker.
Yeah.
And you were pretending to be a construction worker. You're like, move the shovel, cut, great. There's $100.
Do it a couple times. They go grab me my snacks, coffee. They ask me if I need anything. They bring me my catered meal. Like they drive me in the brand new SUVs to my trailer after that. And pretending to be a construction guy,
That's so good. That's so good. Okay, so people couldn't wrap their minds around that you're pretending to be a construction worker and you're making money. Okay, so what was some of the comments? What were people saying to you? Like what were the dream crushers telling you?
Well, like some of the big ones are like, a lot of times people feel like they need to overcompensate, so they'll start trying to share stuff that's going on in their world. They'll start like they'll kind of cut me off, and this has been more than one person, multiple people. They'll start talking about their job, what they're doing, how much they're making, all the things that are starting to pop up, and it's like, that's great. But I can tell that it's a projection of insecurity because they feel like they need to. I don't ever want them to feel that way. Being an inspiration and pursuing your dreams, that's what I always push, because like I like to tell everybody that when you have a passion for something, there's a reason it was put there. We're all programmed for a purpose, and so
not say that again.
Yeah, we are all programmed for a purpose.
That's good. That's so good.
We are programmed for a purpose, all of us. And that purpose, we're built for that, and for years. And this is something that has been, like when it comes to people criticizing or talking down, this has been something I've dealt with since I was a little kid. I always knew since I was a little kid, when people, when you ask a kid, what do you want to be when you grow up? I always would answer the same thing. It wasn't something I was ever confused by. I wanted to be an artist.
Wow.
Period.
Wow.
I was into drawing. I did music. I was writing songs when I was a little kid. I was watching, there's this Greek composer named Yanni. So I'd sit in my high chair and I'd watch Yanni on TV. He'd do his double keyboards and watching him compose. And his family never had the money to learn, teach for him to go to lessons. So he taught himself and he created a whole new concept of piano.
It's amazing.
And I was inspired by this guy and I was a little kid. So I've always known I wanted to be an artist, but you're taught in society that that's a fun hobby. Pick a real job.
Wow, it's true. That's so true.
So you think like, I should go to school. I should maybe go to become an engineer, or I should just go to law school. And in fact, I did. I went to school. I took. I was doing my bachelor's of science because I was going to pursue becoming a dentist. I was going to go to dental school, and I was doing my classes. I was doing well, and it's funny because I was doing well in my classes, and I'm like, what the heck am I doing here?
Wow,
this is not me at all.
Yeah,
this is like, it's like pushing against a current. And I don't know if you've ever felt this way, Kai. If you're pursuing an area that you feel that it's not you at all, but everybody else is telling you to do it, it's like going against a current.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I remember I struggled with that because when I finished high school, everyone would always ask me, Kai, what are you going to do when you finish high school? And I would tell people, like once I figured it out, because I didn't really know at first, but then I was like, I'm going to be a videographer. I'm going to
Yeah.
make videos. And people would look at me and they'd burst out laughing. You know, there's family members included that. And they just said, you can't do that. Like they said, and this was the line they would give me, only the top 1% of YouTubers can make a living creating videos. I just look at them and I was like, no, watch me, you know? And that was just, that was like jet fuel for me to say, I'm going to pursue my passion, because I'm passionate about this. Absolutely. Yeah.
That's fantastic, man. I love that. Like, that's amazing. And like, you look at all the, like what you've done with that, you know, people can look at that. It inspires me when I look at you and what you do in your business. And I mean, even when you first told me your story, when we met, it was such an inspiration to me. It was me and my wife, actually. It's just amazing. It is unreal. And you could really see, you know, you step into what you're called to do, what you're programmed to do. And it's flourishing, and it's inspiring more people than you even know.
Yeah. Our very first episode with my guest, Dan Weeb, he shared the definition of success. And his definition of success was, the definition of success is walking in your purpose. And I just thought that was so good, because it's not financial, it's not numerical, it's walking in your purpose, right? And when you find that, when you discover it, it's like you find wings. You're not flying against the current, you're flying with the current, and you're soaring. And as cheesy and cliche that sounds, every cliche term has a truth behind it, right? And so, okay, so you found your current, you found this acting, you soared past the haters and the naysayers that said you can't do it in Calgary.
Even other actors.
Really?
Even other actors, like, because you'll audition. Like, I've auditioned for roles, gotten called back, got offered the role, and multiple times, and people are like, how are you getting all these roles?
Yeah. Okay, I totally remember you said once, you were on like some group chat or something, and there's this lady and she's like, oh, you know, I don't think acting's possible. Like, my son's been trying it for years. He's like never gotten a role or something. So I'd love you to just kind of dive into like what you did, because I know a lot of people are just kind of like, you know, I gave it a shot. I tried it, but like you were persistent, and not only were you persistent, but you worked outside of the box, from vocal training to extra classes to all this. But at the end of the day, you put in the time, and so I'd love you to flesh that out a little bit.
Absolutely, Kai. I'd love to share a bit about that. So, you know, you look at it like, you know, a lot of people, they look at a real job, you know, say like, let's pick a trade, like welding.
Okay.
Well, if you're going to go and weld for 12, 13 hours a day, that's looked at like a real job.
Correct.
Right. But if you were to put that same amount of time and energy into what you're passionate about,
wow,
what can flourish? What can grow from that?
Wow. That's actually so good. I never thought about that, because a lot of times people are just kind of like, oh yeah, if I put 12 hours in, that's great. Yeah. But it's like, okay, you want to become a painter? Do you paint 2-3 hours a day and call it good? Or are you putting 10, 12 hours
like
in
the
a day,
time
right?
in. So like, you know, when it's slow season, I'm doing classes, I'm doing different training, you know, whether it's stunt work, whether it's working out in the gym, communicating, networking with other people, willing to do I'll volunteer for films to keep the flow going, keep it building the momentum.
Wait. You'll volunteer for films?
Absolutely.
What do you mean?
So whether it's like an unpaid production, super low budget, I've done those, because I not only do I love to help the filmmakers, because it's not just the job or just for money for me. It's what I love. It's what I love to do. Wow. Getting in character, portraying people on set. And so I will do it for free. And as long as I look over the script, if it's, you know, and if I think it's not very good, and but you know, absolutely, I'll volunteer.
But why would you do that? Okay, you love it, that's good, but there has to be a reason. There has to be a reason why you do it.
So the reason I do it is because not only do you get more experience, but you're also practicing it like a muscle in the gym, and you're continually keeping that skill improving. It continues to grow, even when you're not doing the paid jobs. If it's quiet, you know, during that season, you're continually improving your skill, and that's the key with anything. Is we're continuing to learn, continuing to grow as people. That's what we're supposed to do. We feel alive, especially like us guys who we feel it's like in the gym. Can you imagine going to the gym for 10 years, not seeing any progress?
Brutal.
But as long as we see a little bit of progress, a little tiny bit, it feels good. It feels fulfilling. It's like, I did that. And that's with anything, you know, like continue that. And that's why I'll volunteer for films, is I find it helps with keeping the skill, improving my skill, working on the craft. And, you know, doing different classes, you know, and because then when that paid gig comes, you're that much more separated from the other people to get those roles.
Yeah. I think I could summarize it as in if I had to compact it into a few words, I could say sometimes you have to do things for free so you're prepared for the opportunity.
100%.
And, you know, I love that because it applies in every single field, because even myself, right? Like people are always kind of like, oh, you're so successful. How'd you do it? How are you running a video company? How'd you start making money? I own a camera. I've been running my company for 6 months. Haven't done anything for. Do you think I made money at first? Right? Like I had to go to companies or brands, say, hey, I'd love to do a video for you. Oh, how much would it cost? Nothing. I won't charge you.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, really? No one is going to say no
if
you're going to offer them a quality product 100%. For free. And I would build the portfolio. And then once you have 6, 7 high quality videos, then you go to a brand and say, well, I'll do it for $200, not $2,000. You're a newbie. No one wants you, right? And then you start building it. And then that's how you build a portfolio. That's how you build respect amongst the community, right? And that's how you gain the experience too. And those are invaluable lessons that I learned that I still apply till today. But sometimes you got to put in the work. And then people are like, oh, I can't do things for free. And that's kind of like, well, if you're not willing to work for free, you're not going to gain the experience.
Exactly. Or if they do, they kind of do a mediocre job.
They don't give it their best.
Right? Like when I'm acting for free on the volunteer films, I'm putting the same amount of effort as if I was getting paid $50,000.
Why? Because some people, that's not going to make sense to some people. Why?
It's, I believe that, what you're putting out, what you put out will come back. And that's always been the case. And for me, I've found that like by volunteering, by giving my service to these jobs that are the volunteer ones I've done, it's opened up so many doors for the paid jobs. And
networking.
And I've asked other actors, like, because they can't get any other roles other than like just a background once or like a back or some commercial, like that's it. And then I asked them, well, have you done any volunteer work? No. What do you mean no? So are you passionate about acting, or are you just passionate about being on movies? There's so many actors that are like that. Like, you just want to be on movies, or it's the idea. It's like with music. People have the idea of being in the studio with the headset, singing their song, and then it's just done after like 10 minutes, and then they get in the sports car and drive away. That is not the reality.
Yeah, they fall in love with the idea, not with the art.
Exactly. What do you love?
That's so good.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. Okay. So you put in the time, you learn, you've been very successful. You're coming so far. So how do you keep the momentum moving forward? How do you stay sharp? What are you doing to like continue to progress? And some people, maybe there's some people that are listening or watching that want to become actors too, but maybe there are other people that are following other dreams and other passions. But so how would you encourage someone that kind of in the thick of it, that's in the grind? Like how do you stay motivated, or like, what do you do to like keep pushing?
Well, remembering like you can always change the plan, but never the goal. When you have a dream, that dream, you can make it a reality. You can change how you get there. You can change. It's like driving a car. You can go down this path. You can go down this one. You can kind of change to this lane a bit, but not changing where you're going. And for me, I know what I want to achieve. I have these passions and these dreams, and they will become a reality, as they are. Wow. They are now. They're flourishing. And it takes time. It's like watering a garden. You can't see the plants yet. You can't see the flowers, the vegetables. but you water the dirt anyway because you know it's there. You know that those seeds are there, so you take care of it. You cover it. You make sure it doesn't freeze over. You take care of that garden, and that's your life. The garden is your life. You water it. You take care of it. You make sure it's being nutrified, and then it'll flourish. And that's for anything in your life. And you do it even when you can't see it. You know, it's...
Or even when others are making fun of it, right?
Oh, yeah. And that's, but you know, you can, a lot of times, and this is something I can say to people who are pursuing their dreams, people will make fun of you. They will say things, you know, they'll criticize your art. They'll criticize your voice. They'll criticize your face. They'll criticize your weight. They'll criticize your hair. I could list on. People will criticize, and it doesn't get better the further up you go towards your dream. In fact, the worse it gets. Like, for example, when I started releasing some music years ago, I had released a single and everybody was all supportive over it. And then I released another one. And then once I started getting a bit more of a following, a bit more of a momentum, started getting like 1,000 streams on Spotify, all of a sudden I had people messaging me that were supportive, and they started criticizing, like swearing, cussing at me and saying that this was garbage and this was blah, blah, blah. And it's like, why would you do that? For someone to take the time to be that passionately, well, it's anger, it's bitterness, all that. Anytime somebody has to feel like they have to criticize you for pursuing something that you love, it's all stems from anger, jealousy, and remembering that. And the battle is not against them; it's against what's going on in the spirit.
Yeah. Wow, I think, wow, I got deep there.
Yeah.
And I think it's so true, right? That, and I've experienced that in my life. You know, friendships change, people do change, and as you're following your dreams and you're becoming successful, sometimes there comes a moment where you need to say, okay, I need to reevaluate my friend group. I need to reevaluate how I'm going to interact with other people, right? And you know, when you first start something, usually everyone's like, yeah, this is great, you're doing awesome, so good. But then as soon as you start having more and more success, like you said, I can't believe that people are like literally telling you this garbage and they're swearing at you. But that doesn't come out from who you are as a person. It comes out from, you know, the insecurities that they have on the inside.
Exactly.
And so how do you handle that, Kev? Like how do you deal with that? Because I mean, yeah, I'd just love to hear.
It's never easy to deal with. It never is. But when you know that it's not that person that is attacking you, that brings a little more peace. You know, like why would someone feel like they need to go out of their way to hurt you for something that you love and pursuing? Why? You know, and remembering that anytime somebody criticizes or is rude. I mean, I've lost lots of friends due to pursuing this path. You know, once I started getting more and more opportunities, I had people that I thought were close to me, they just disconnected. You know, or they'd blow out or blow it at me, like just get, you know. And that's the thing too, is to remember is, you know, people that you think are your friends, they might get so angry that you are having these opportunities come to you, that they'll allow that darkness to kind of take over, and it ruins so many friendships. And it's something I've experienced multiple times. I never wish that upon anybody, but preparing for that. Because when you pursue your dreams and when you start to see things flourish, it's not what is taught to be common, right? You know, it isn't, and so it's unfamiliar territory for most people. And you know, something that I often think of, even you just bringing that up, is I think of my faith, right? And I know that there's viewers on the show that maybe are agnostic or don't believe in a God. I believe in a God, and that's one thing that I love about, and even non-Christians can't refute the fact that Jesus loved people. You know, he authentically loved people. And that's something that I've tried to model in my life, is that, you know,
love people. And even when people put you down or they push you down, and I love that you're saying don't look at the person and don't be like, oh, that person, because it's so easy to point a finger back, right?
Yeah.
It's so easy to point finger back, but love the person. Don't love what they did, don't love their actions. And of course, don't allow yourself to come into a place of abuse or neglect because of people's actions, but choose to love people.
Yeah.
That's so profound.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. That's exactly it. And, there's multiple books I've read, big into reading, so like over the years, different success books, different phenomena, like whether it's about finances, whether it's about, finding your true calling, those kinds of books. I find them really, really interesting, and hearing people's takes. And there's always a common agreement with whether you're Christian, whether you're Muslim, whether you're Buddhist, New Age, there's always there is a higher power. They all, and if you don't believe in this higher power at all, there's no way you can become successful.
Wow.
That is the end. I'm a Christian myself. I believe in God. And I found it neat. One book I read, and she's amazing. She talks like she's very New Age, and she believes in the universe, and the universe provides and stuff. But she's very much like, and if you believe in God, you translate the same. So like God, and believing in God, and understanding how that works in the spirit, and understanding the attacks that come in the spirit. It's very real. I mean, and she said, like, if you don't believe in any higher power whatsoever, it's like, maybe be open to learning a little bit, because it's gonna be basically impossible to pursue your dreams if you don't.
Yeah. I remember I definitely went through a season. I know we kind of got off topic here, but just before bringing it back, I went through a season where I really questioned, because, I grew up in a family that believed in Jesus, that believed in God. And so, but I definitely, when I got into my teenage years, was like, why do I believe this? Just because my parents believe it doesn't mean it's true. Right. So, and I really had to go through that discovery. And so I looked into Islam, I looked into Buddhism, I looked into all these different faiths and say, what do they believe at their core, And as I started studying, I came across a similarity in every faith except Christianity. True Christianity, because there's a lot of people that have called themselves Christians and have done a lot wrong over the years. But every faith, it's about what you can do for God, how you can serve, what you need to do, this task list. But Jesus at his heart is about what he did for us. It's not about what we can do for him. It's about what he did for us and the forgiveness that he offers. And I think that's what sets
it apart. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. And I think that's absolutely spectacular, Kai. And I've actually had the same experience myself, like where you go to become knowledgeable about other beliefs. When you grow up in a certain belief system, sometimes we can kind of enclose ourselves into that belief system thinking that's the way it is, period.
Yeah.
But being knowledgeable about all different kinds of belief systems, and then you're able to choose, what do you believe? Because it comes down to that. It's not, I grew up this way, or my parents believe this. It's, what do you believe? Where do you stand?
Yeah.
And, it's that you conclude that you're able to really navigate where you're going when you do that.
Absolutely. So kind of to bring it back, Kev, here.
Yeah.
That was an awesome rabbit trail, though. Love rabbit trails.
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah.
Dude, why chase your dreams? Why do you chase your dreams?
I think a simple answer to that is because it's what really makes us feel alive. You want to put the battery in the machine, right? You want to see it run. You want to plug that vinyl record player in and listen to those awesome records. Well, without chasing your dreams, would be like there's no power outlet. Well, it can't. It's just not. You feel alive when you pursue your dreams, and knowing that, like I said before, that it's placed there for a reason, and knowing that by pursuing it to the max, not putting work in to your dreams. This is the mistake a lot of people.
Oh, tell me! I can't wait for
that
this.
when they hear the word pursuing their dreams, and when they think of that, they don't they, again, even in their own head, they're still seeing it like a hobby, like something they kind of do for fun for 30 minutes or an hour in the day, and then that's it. You know, you got to put the work into that dream to make it a reality. It doesn't just happen. You can have all the skills, you know, like I'm sure that there's, you know, when, you know, I always think about like Michael Jordan going in early for practices. I mean, did he need that over everybody? Maybe not, but he did it.
Remember,
It separated him from everybody else.
yes, did.
He's there. They all get there. And they're all fantastic basketball players, good enough to make the NBA. But who's the one in the room practicing 2 hours before, right? Or 3 hours or 4 hours before. Well, that's the kind of work you got to put in to your dreams, whatever they are.
Yeah.
If you know, whether it's starting that, if you're passionate about starting a restaurant, I mean, you got to put the work into that. You got the time, you know, it doesn't just happen just because you dream it.
Exactly.
You know, you got to put that work in days, you know, weeks, times, years, and allowing years. Like, you know, like for actors out there pursuing acting, not allowing people to discourage you from where you're at in your acting career either. If you're doing theater, if you're doing background, if you're doing commercials, or if you're filming your own films at home. You know, Bryan Cranston, he's an actor. He was the lead actor on Breaking Bad, the series, and he was on Malcolm in the Middle. He did background acting for like decades.
No way.
Couldn't get a break. Like, and then it happened. And that's one thing that I can tell people is no one's on the same time frame. Everyone is on their own time frame. So whether it happens for you next week or it happens for you 20 years from now, pursuing that dream is so important. You know, you look at different music artists or actors, like some that they don't get a big break till they're in their 40s or 50s, and then some that they're child actors. You know, or artists. You know, like some of them get big when they're in their teens or 20s, and other ones they flourish when they're older. Everyone's on their own time frame, and everything that you have that from your past, the different jobs you've done, you know, if you're in school, if you're taking an education, say you're becoming a lawyer, but you're passionate about being a professional writer, doesn't mean you can't do both.
Exactly.
And allowing the time and everything that you have been doing to become that lawyer has helped make you the writer, the better writer that you can be. Right. Absolutely. Like I look back when I served or any other previous jobs, and you know, we all have a story, and how that has helped us, help me with my acting career. You know, it's serving is like the best job you can do to improve your acting skills, because you got to deal with so many different kinds of people for multiple different nights, and catering to multiple people at the same time. Like I found that serving in that, I mean, wow, it helped with improving my acting on set.
I think another thing, Kev, like I love that, you know, you have to put in the time. But I think another huge thing that I would say complements that was for me, if you want to live your dreams, you have to say no to distractions. And I think a lot of times people don't get that, right? Because they're like, I'm working a job. This is my side hustle. I'm making $1,000 out of $500 out of a month. Maybe I'm making $100 out of a month. But when I started, I was working as a graphic designer, but I wanted to do videography. That was my career. That's what I'd gone to school for, as a graphic designer. And I remember there was times that like I wanted to do video, right? But friends were like, let's go to a water park. Let's go to amusement park. Let's go do things. And I was kind of like, okay, well, that's going to be $150. That's going to be my Saturday, right? I was like, am I going to go do that? Or am I going to put that $150 towards my next camera? And I'm going to spend my 8 hours continuing to learn and self-improve, right? I think a lot of times people are always like, oh, well, it's just my side hustle. You know, I need to have fun. I need to live life. And they get stuck in that. So they never actually put in the time, because they don't say no to distractions that keep them from their side hustle. And then they never get to actually live out their dreams because they didn't invest the time and the money. And you have to say no. You have to say no to distractions. You have to say no to people that are going to try and pull you away from your side hustle. And it's very easy to justify saying, oh, well, it's okay. You know, I'll get to it one day. But if you want it, you have to say no.
Absolutely. And even when, you know, in society it says, hey, you're young, you know, and you got friends that'll all go out and they'll party and they'll have, you know, have a good time, whatever. If, you know, you got to get things done, you know,
Yeah.
so it's like you can either do that or buckle down, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was in high school, I had friends that start, you know, really got into the party scene, but I went to the gym.
Yeah.
I wasn't interested in doing that. It wasn't something that was tempting to me to step into. It was the whole party scene. And I mean, a lot of them now, I don't even know what they're, I mean, I know a few of them. I mean, they ended up going down the routes of drugs and destroyed their lives. And I mean, you know, it starts, you make this choice because you'll always hit these crossroads in our lives where it's like, okay, do I go this way? Do I go this way? Do I do this or do I do this? And it really defines, so like the littlest choices, how much it can define our future.
Yeah. If you want more, you can't fit in.
Yeah.
You really can't.
Yeah. Well, and that's why, you know, like even it's funny because even good things like me having to let go of some of my businesses, letting go of some of the jobs I was doing to fully invest into becoming a full-time artist. I mean, it's scary stuff. It's because, you know, it's like, well, do I give this up? I have such a great relationship with these jobs. I have a good standing. It's like, you know, I have a business, but it's like, in order for me to be the best actor that I can be or the best musician that I can be, I have to let it go. So I have to invest that energy into that.
Absolutely.
And so I made that decision, and everyone will have to eventually make that decision.
Yeah. They have to choose. Can't live in the middle forever.
Mhm.
Well, Kev, that was like, wow, time's flying by so quick here. Is there, you know, just as we wrap up the podcast here, it's been so good. Wow. It really spoke to my heart a lot of things that I had on my heart. So that's really awesome, you know, following your dreams. But is there anything that you would want to encourage people, you know, young, old, middle-aged, doesn't matter, just about, you know, chasing their dreams? Is there any final things that you would just want to leave the people with?
You know, pursuing your dreams, you can do it. It's 100% attainable. I mean, I'm some kid from Olds. I mean, I'm not from Los Angeles. I'm not from New York City. And I'm a professional actor full time and a professional musician. And now pursuing your dreams is completely a reality. Don't let people put you down. And look at people that, you know, when they say things, look at it as a good thing because you're working your way up. I mean, so to leave it at just do it. Just dive in. Just get it done. You know, and working in silence is not a bad thing either. Just doing it. I mean, you might have 4 or 5 movies under your belt before your cousin or your whatever, your parents, or they were like, oh wow, so you got because the results they show. You know, so stepping in, just doing it, even apart from anybody's thoughts and feelings. It's completely achievable, completely attainable. Your dreams you can make them a reality. Just put in the work.
I love it. Well, guys, you heard it from Kev. Put in the work. Chase your dreams. It's so important. It'll change your life. You'll be so excited to wake up every single day, and so excited to wake up the next day to do it all over again. And there are hard times. You do go through challenges. It's not all sunshine and rainbows, but it's worth it. And so you'll be able to see Kev's links in the bio. Go follow him. Go listen to his music. Go subscribe. Go do all the things to all his channels. Support this guy because he's a huge inspiration. So Kevin, thanks so much for being on the show, man. Really appreciate you.
Absolutely.
And keep on touching lives, man.
It was a pleasure, Kai. All right. I'll see you guys on Netflix.
Yeah.